Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And we have just finished up the missions to fully awaken Chloe and get her protection skill maxed out. So, today is yet another free-to-play Protector Chloe showcase. Apparently, she's been relegated to free-to-play Protector status, because the last time we got a Chloe was the free-to-play Protector for World of Fantasy? No, Fount of Wisdom. Fount of Wisdom is the last time we got Chloe, and then we haven't gotten a Chloe unit since her other Protector. Where is she? There she is. Water Chloe, like February or March of last year. So, Chloe, not a battle unit, only Protectors, and now only free to play. But she is coming in on a very interesting meta, because she is part of the Pretty Sparkle category. So she gives Pretty Sparkle Force 30% extra damage to space, and then gives Shizu's Will and Pretty Sparkle units 12% attack, so no defense there, which is standard for all the free-to-play ones. Her actual skill, so she's a much, much worse version of Idle Rimuru. I mean, lately they've been doing things with the Protectors where they're like a mini version. They're not quite as good, but they still do kind of the same thing. If we look at let's see, who was this Rimuru for the Visions of Coleus team, right? He gives synergy, he raises your skill cap, and he gives you extra skill points on blues, which is, what Lumi does, except she gives, 50 points skill cap raise, and this is 100% up to 500, but it's still, the same kind of kit. This Chloe is missing a few things. Well, missing one major thing, and that is the skill reset, the passive skill reset. So she does just a 2-orb change, 2 blues into 2 greens, so not Rimuru's like 3 and 3 change. She does make Pretty Sparkle characters invincible for 1 turn, so I mean, you do get that kind of survivability option, but there is no passive skill reset, which I think if she had done it by like 5 points or something every turn, I think that would have been a pretty good in between, because Rimuru's doing 10 every turn. If you cut her in half, 5 points a turn, and you could still have some sort of reset. It would just take longer for those skills to go back down to their base values. So, and these 2-orb changes right here they put on Protectors is pretty ass. They've done it for multiple Protectors now. I think you did it, and you gave like crit or something. Physically, yeah, crit. It's like these characters do not do well. Dino also was a pretty terrible unit. Well, he was okay. Never mind. I give Dino shit. Mainly I'm just biased against his other form. But a lot of those double orb changing free-to-play Protectors, not great. So I think the other one was Chloe, actually. The other Chloe. So at least we get invincibility. So let's try and test her out and see if she can even make an impact on the Sparkle team if you didn't pull Idle Rimuru. Alright, so we're going to go into the extreme stage of the current beatdown battle, the last one that you need to get the free piece of gear for Mirai. We're going to use the team that I've been running, since Shizuka came out, because we haven't gotten a new unit since for the Sparkle team, which I think will change tonight. I think we'll get a preview. Tonight is Saturday the 16th as of recording this. So, we'll see how this works. So I'm going to record it early, and, if the 2 new units are good, well, then just know that it'll run even better. But, I mean, this shouldn't be that difficult. The stage itself on Extreme is not hard, per se, if you have the units to do so. It's just that we're missing a few key elements of what Rimuru can do, which makes this stage even easier, because we're missing the 12% attack or magic attack stack. We're missing the skill reset. We're only changing 2 orbs, and these things coupled together can make this run not great. But it also does, in some kind of weird sense, free us up as far as our turns are concerned, because we no longer have to leave people up front to get skill reset, so we're not like locked into the first 3 units for a couple turns. So, it is what it is. Her her usability is vastly outweighed. You know, we'll just put that out there. All right, cool. So we have a Chloe right here. She will change 2 blues to greens. We are sealed on the body and spirit skills, which is fine. But we have 2 oranges, which doesn't really work out very well for us. So I think we'll just do a passive stack with Lumi, and then we'll... man, let's just let's send these oranges. Yeah, let's send these oranges, and then we can either use Chloe to change 2 blues, or we could... okay. Sure, that works. Okay, so let's do something here. Let's bring Rain in for Lumi. Let's use the green buff. Lowers crit resistance, which we're not critting here anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And then we'll bring in Tsubasa. That way all 3 frontliners are pretty sparkle. We'll use the orb change, so that takes care of 1 blue. This will take care of the other 2 blues, and it will give us invincibility. And there we go, we got a full hand of buffed greens. But unfortunately, no extra points to use anything else, so we can't use live mode, we can't use a weakness buff, and I think that's where the big kind of thing is. So honestly, if I were to remake this team and jump out, I'd probably take Lumi out of here and put in like Traya or something, because she would just be really, really good for this this team, because we need more orb changers now, because Rimuru is not here to save us. Let's go ahead and heal. Let's guarantee the next hand is full greens, and then we will... I think we'll just send the alts and then these oranges. That way that we have these 2 greens, and the next guaranteed 4 are greens, and then we can use live mode next turn. So we'll get Shizuka's ult out of the way. Mirai's ult, 70k. I mean, we're killing him. You know, that's the good thing. We're killing him, and we're not taking too much damage. This will hurt a little bit, but not as much as it will next turn, probably. No, okay, he doesn't put the debuff on us. Alright, that's fine. So, let's go ahead and use the live mode plus the ult resistance down. And these greens are still buffed. We don't need to use Chloe yet, even though we could be invincible. Like, he's not ulting, so we might as well just keep it in our back pocket for now. And we'll just go with this. We'll have a Mirai ult next turn. Alright, cool. 8,000, 7,000, 15,000. She crits, so that's why we did less, because you don't want to crit on this boss. And he's almost dead. And then, oh, okay, yeah, that works. That definitely works. So here, we have the ult resistance down. He's about to ult us. Now would be an excellent time to use Chloe to make sure that we are invincible here. And it'll change that 1 blue. We just have the 1 green now, so it's like, do I want to use this, and do I want to use live mode? Sure, why not? Because the greens are no longer buffed by rain. That is gone, yeah. So we'll just send this. We'll get a Tsubasa ult and then some. And we should be out of here, pretty much. I think this turn or next turn, depending on how much damage we do here. Oh, he's dead. Okay. So, I mean, it worked. It would be maybe a little bit easier if we had another orb changer to take care of some things. That way Tsubasa's orb change doesn't get wildly expensive. But, I mean, it worked. It definitely worked. Let's tone down the Sparkle team a little bit. Let's just have Mirai and Tsubasa, and let's take her into some other green-focused stages and see how that works out. Okay, since we have another beatdown battle here, which is also green-focused, we're going to go into the Goddess of Destiny rerun onto the EX3 stage, which is the last stage you need to beat to get the dupes of Traya, and we'll see if we can also do it. So we took Shizuka out, so we just are like, you have the free-to-play units, you have Mirai because you got lucky on the 2 multis or something like that you got for free. Traya is free. Dark Milim is a year plus old now, and Shuna is on the current banner, so maybe like you lucked out and you pulled Mirai and Shuna together. Obviously, if you don't have Shuna, then bring, I don't know, somebody else. But she'll be our quote-unquote DPS character here, and we'll see if we can survive this this stage on EX3 instead. Alright, so we have 3 triple orb or double orb changers here, special converters, so we could take our pick. Do we want 5% skill point increase for the end of battle? Do we want 10% gauge increase across the entire, all 3 of them? Or do we want extra skill points? It doesn't really matter to me. Let's just do all gauge increase. Let's go try it first. That way we can send her away, and we'll bring Mirai in. And then next turn, if we get a 3-3 spread, we can go ahead and bring in Shuna and just yoink all those orbs. So 4,700 damage with Tsubasa, because she is light and she is magic, so she is getting super weak point here. And perfect. Okay, we'll swap out the light unit for a light unit. Obviously, using Chloe here wouldn't really do us many favors, though, because we don't have a whole bunch of greens. But what we can do is we could yoink all these, right? So we have six Shuna orbs, and then we have enough points to guarantee that the entire next turn will be green orbs, which will be 5 greens and an ult, because we're going to get the ult with Shuna here. So this will work out fairly well. 8,000, 7,000. All right. Doing damage. Super weak point again. 15-8. All right. There. Okay. We get binded in, and unfortunately we don't have anyone to yoink the ult away from, or swap the ult for Shuna, so we kind of have to live with it. So I think what we do here is we live mode, and then we buff with Shuna, who is getting light damage and crit damage, but there's no one here giving her crit, so it is kind of wasted on her a bit. But this does get her EX ult, along with Mirai's ult, along with the double gauge of Chloe, so the next turn, maybe if we have like 4 blues, then we can kind of get out of that. We'll see how that goes, but now we have the EX ult. Look at that shit. Okay. So, we'll get both of you out of here. The ult is coming in. Now, the thing is, all 3 of these units are on Pretty Sparkle, and we could just keep it here and send it, which I think is what we should do, because we have the light buff, we have 64 points, which is enough to use the Milim ult buff, and then we could just use Chloe to change these 2 blues to green. Boom. And now everyone up front is invincible, so now it doesn't matter what Grucius does to us, because he literally cannot hurt us. So we'll go ahead and send this, and we'll call it a day. Well, maybe not a day, but we'll call it pretty good damage. 133, alright, yeah, I'd say that's pretty good damage, and he can't hurt us. So, Shuna 22-6, and he's almost dead, and to Grucius I say, fuck off. 0 damage. Oh, we got a cheeky counter out of it, too. Okay, well, I'd say that worked out pretty well. We have 57 points. Let's just go ahead and yoink those again, and I think we're done. So let's change some of those blues to greens. That way they're not nerfed on their damage. Make ourselves invincible just for funsy onesies, and now I think we're done. Boom. There we go. We're done. Okay, so that worked out actually fairly well, very well, if I may say so myself. That last turn was quite lucky that we only got 2 blues. So, Chloe, invincibility, the orb change showed up. The invincibility definitely saved us from taking that Grucius ult, which may not have hurt, in the grand scheme of things, too much. But it did save us some damage. And if this fight were to go on longer, we could have just held on to those, because on like turn 8 or something, turn 9, he gives himself some massive attack buff. And if you have to go that long, then it doesn't really matter. In fact, you know what? Let's do that. We're going to come back on turn 9 when we get some massive attack buff, and then we'll just we'll just not die. Alright, so we're back on turn 9. At the end of turn 8, Grucius gives himself a 100% attack buff and an instant ult, which means that one person is pretty much guaranteed to die. However, if you've played it right and you have all this going on right here, and you have Chloe, who's going to give the entire frontline invincibility, his, let's see, how high is it? 25,000 attack stat doesn't really look that scary anymore. Now, does it? Because there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, counter? Oh, I don't care about that. Alright, 25,000 ult with, crit? No, it doesn't matter. Oh, AoE? Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, I mean, there's some fun things to it. And even if you don't have Rimuru, right? My biggest complaint with Rimuru's kit, apart from anything, is that his team is limited. Pretty Sparkle is not a big force to pull from. You have a bunch of mid units, you have like one really good unit and one pretty good unit, and then everyone else is kind of like meh. right? But if you have a free-to-play unit that can at least prevent you from dying, like, that is definitely useful, right? You could take that into a number of stages. In fact, as I'm quitting this out, I'm just going to talk. We're going to go into Conquest Milim, which is a difficult stage for newer players, because even with master difficulty and, you know, having EX removed from Conquest, this Space Milim can still hit like a truck if you're not prepared for it. So if you can somehow make sure that you have a good roll, you can, you know, prevent yourself from dying and maybe get an easy kill. So let me rebuild a team, and then we'll jump right into it. Okay, we're back. We've made a full Pretty Sparkle team minus Traya. So Tsubasa, Velzard, free-to-play, Light Shinsha, sorry, and then Light Shizu. So we've got Orb Changer, Orb Changer, Orb Changer, Orb Changer, Healer plus Defense, because she's skill fused, she's going to heal, she's going to lower attack, and she's going to give us guard rate. So that, combined with the invincibility that most of this team is going to have, and the fact that Conquest Milim does not nerf greens, she only nerfs oranges, I think our survivability is probably going to look fairly good here. I would reset for a good turn 1, though, which is what we're going to do, so we'll be right back. Okay, well, I'll take this starting hand. 5 blues. Can't get too much better than that, except, you know, full hand of greens, maybe. But let's go ahead and take Traya out, because we want her orb changing in the back. And we'll go ahead and send this. And we'll see how much damage Milim does to us on turn 1, and then when she gets the super stuff. You know, we do have weak point, right? Because we are fighting a space enemy, which means that free-to-play Chloe does help us do more damage with this entire team. And I mean, look at, you know, this is master difficulty. My Shizu is level 100. She's got good gear on, right? But she's down to half HP. So that's not really great in, you know, any kind of fair shape of the term. But what can we do here to alleviate such things? Well, everyone's going to get damage buff. Even this little free-to-play Shinsha. Oh my god, I'm messing your name up. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Do we send the oranges and pray? Let's go ahead and heal and guard. And then we're going to send the oranges. So guard rate will lower her attack. Boom, 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 boom. And then maybe next turn we will put ourselves on the invincible track. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So guard, pierce, alright, guard, pierced. Alright, I think we're good now. So we have 1 orange orb, which is fine, because we can do this. We'll bang, and then we'll put this up. We'll bang, and we've got a full hand of greens. We're invincible, so now she can't do anything to us. Legitimately cannot do a single thing to us. And now we're just going to eliminate like a third of her health bar. And these are not like damaging characters, right? I could have brought Dark Milim. I could have brought Bride Shuna, and we could have, you know, stolen into a 6 Shuna and then annihilated this Milim. But we went, you know, the more difficult route. And now we have a alt, which is an AoE alt with the Pierce buff. And it's like, oh no, that'd be really scary for, you know, any other aspect of the game. Well, not exactly, right? Because we can bring Traya in, we could use her orb changes, boom, that gives Velzard a little bit of alt gauge because she's on Goddess of Destiny, and then we'll bring in Shinsha, who is on Pretty Sparkle, and now we're invincible. And now this AoE alt with the extra Pierce buff can do legitimately nothing. And we might kill her with this ult. And if not, then we have an attack buff coming next turn from Tsubasa, and because she's Milim's an AoE alt, it means we're going to get an extra 30% buff on that instead of just 10. So 12.5, alright, not great. Alright, and yeah, she's almost dead. So she will die this next turn. She is dead. Boom. And then this AoE alt means absolutely jack shit. Oh, we got an ult for Velzard. Cool. We can power her up. And then the 4, you know, follow-up attacks, again, don't mean anything. So let's bring you in. Now that we've taken that AoE, this is up to a 40% buff, and then we'll just send Velzard's ult and we'll be done with it. And I think that's where we can end the showcase, because this Chloe doesn't look very good on paper, but she has one major strength, and that is making units invincible. And if you have some of these options, which Tsubasa is free to play, Shinsha's free to play, the Light Mirren, she's free to play as well. Like, you can pick these units up, and, you know, if you can't die, you can clear things. The same rule applies to Vengeance, the same rule applies to Idle Rimuru. If you cannot die, then eventually you will win. It might take you 10, 15, 30 turns, but if the enemy can't physically kill you, then it leaves the door wide open. So I think this Chloe, while on paper not looking terribly impressive, I think there are enough orb-changing units and enough free-to-play options for a newer player to really make use of her kit. Now, I'm not saying that you can take this Chloe into Jubilee and be like top 10 in the server. I'm also not saying you could take her into Inferno 3 and be like, alright, well, fuck this boss, because, you know, 1.2 million HP is a lot. But for a new starting player who maybe summoned on the idols, and you've got Mirai, you've got Tsubasa, maybe you got lucky and you pulled Shizuka, then you can clear like 90% of the game because you can't die. So I'd call this a pretty good showcase. I think Space Milim is a good ending point because that is one of the hardest stages for newer players to do. But let me know what you guys think of this new free-to-play Chloe. I think overall she's a bit better than what I expected her to be, but she's obviously not going to like rewrite the rules of the game. But she can help a lot of people clear a lot of hard things if you can build a team around it, and if you can make yourself invincible. Because obviously if you're not on Pretty Sparkle, you're not going to be invincible, and then her whole kit goes out the door. But, you know, let me know what you guys think. That's it for me. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all later.